Hey, Miss Camilla's friends. I hope you all are well and ready for a fun math lesson. Do you remember what you learned earlier this week and into last week? You learned about arrays. Can you tell me what an array is? Go ahead and say it out loud. That's right. If you said that an array is a set of objects that is organized into equal rows and columns, you got the right answer. Have you seen any examples of an array while you've been home? Maybe in your house? Today, we will be building some arrays. So, can you guys read the title of this slide? What does it say? It says marching bands. Why do you think it says that? Go ahead and share aloud why a marching band makes you think of an array. Before we start with arrays, let's work with some telling time. Take out a sheet of paper and number your paper 1 and 2. Or if you're home with somebody like a parent or an older brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, you guys are more than welcome to sit and listen and share your ideas with them. All right. The hour hand on Roger's clock is broken. The minute hand is shown on the clock. Could the time be 4:25? You guys have to write yes or no on your paper and try to explain out loud, explain your thinking of why. Think about which numbers the hour hand and minute hand would be pointing to if the time was 4:25. Where would the hour hand be pointing? Where would the minute hand be pointing? What hand do we see on Roger's clock right now? Well, that hand looks pretty long, and we know that the longest hand is the minute hand, because our quick trick is that the word minute is much longer than the word hour, so the minute hand is the longest hand. If the time is 4:25, is the minute hand pointing at the 5? Why is it pointing at the 5? Well, when the minute hand is pointing to the 5, it's showing 25 minutes past the hour. Now that we know that the minute hand could be there, where will the hour hand be pointing if the time is 4:25? So the hour hand would be a little past the 4, since it's 25 minutes past 4 o'clock. This is what the clock would look like if it was 4:25. Do you see that the hour hand is past the 4 and the minute hand is on the 5, showing 25 minutes past the 4 o'clock hour? All right, let's do another one of Roger's clocks. So, if Roger's hand, hour hand, on the clock is broken, but the minute hand is shown on the clock, could it be 5 o'clock? Write yes or no on your paper and try to explain out loud why. Explain your thinking. All right. Think about which numbers the hour hand and minute hand would be pointing to if the time was 5 o'clock. Where would the hour hand be pointing? Where would the minute hand be pointing? A hand is pointing at the 5, but we know that this is the minute hand. If the time is 5 o'clock, is the minute hand pointing at the 5? When the minute hand is pointing to the 5, it is showing 25 minutes past the hour. Where will the hour hand be pointing if the time is 5 o'clock? The hour hand, the shorter hand, will be pointing at the 5, and the minute hand on Roger's clock would be pointing where, friends? It would be pointing at the 12, which represents the beginning of a new hour. This is what the clock would look like if it were 5 o'clock. So we know that this clock could not be 5 o'clock. This is what it would look like. This clock, the purple one, shows 5 o'clock. You can see that the hour hand is the shorter hand, and that is pointing at the 5. And the minute hand, which is the longer hand, is on the 12 to begin the new hour. All right, let me go ahead and read this problem for you. Solve the problem. Use any strategy you like. A box of pears has 4 rows. There are 3 pears in each row. How many pears are in the box? So on your paper, draw a picture of the pears. You can use a circle or an X if you would like. Go ahead and pause this video to go ahead and draw out your array and also find out the total number of pears in the box. All right, your array should have looked something like this. There are 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, with 3 X's in each row. I have 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 columns. Remember, columns go down. How many pears are in the box altogether? Well, since there are 3 in each, and there are 4 rows of 3, my equation would look like 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, and that equals 12 pears. Companies send fruit to people and they have to be in an organized box. This is what a box of pears would look like. All right, musicians and marching bands march in patterns that look like arrays. You can watch them in parades and at sporting events. You can use addition or skip counting to find out how many musicians are playing. In a drum line, the drummers march 5 in a row. Go ahead and use your paper as a recording sheet and draw an array that shows how many drummers are in 3 rows. Go ahead and create your array to solve this problem. You can use an X or a circle to create your array, and then write an equation that goes with your array. You can go ahead and pause this video to do your work. So, write 2 equations to show how many drummers are in 3 rows. Could you skip count to find the number of drummers? In a drum line, the drummers march 5 in a row. How many drummers are in 3 rows? Well, let's see what you found out about the drummers. Did your array look like this? Here, I see that I have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3. And I made sure that I put 5 in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which are 5 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did your equation look like this? 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 15 drummers. Or you could just count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. Here's also a way you could write your equation. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. That equals 15 drummers. All right, we've got one more for you. In another drum line, the drummers march 5 in a row. Now, show how many drummers would be in 4 rows. Using your recording sheet, draw an array that shows how many drummers are in 4 rows. And students, you should pause this video to solve this problem just like you did the other one. Draw an array and create an equation to represent the total number of drummers. All right, so now that you did your second one, I want you to do an exit ticket. Today, you are going to hear the problem, and then you are going to submit your answer. So let's listen to the problem. The high school band director needs your help. His band has 24 musicians. In what ways can you arrange the musicians in equal rows? Draw as many different arrays as you can to show 24 musicians. Write at least 2 equations to show that there are 24 musicians in the arrays. So go ahead and use your paper and record it like we did for the last 2 problems. And if you need to, then you're going to submit your answers by clicking the link on the next slide of your PowerPoint. Well, friends, today we reviewed that an array is a set of objects grouped into equal rows and columns. We practiced writing equations that help us count the number of the objects in the array. We also learned that you can skip count to find the total number of objects. Well, math was fun today when we studied the arrays. I can't wait to read and review the answers you have for your exit ticket. Good luck!